I think that this is one of the best schools I've ever been to. Just in terms of learning how to live with each other and learning how to like muster up enough tenacity to chop more wood, and just really just working with the little subtle things that maybe are pushed aside in daily life in terms of doing things that are more important, like, whatever's more important. But these, this here is something that I don't think, I think it's going to be I think it is a real place for me to gather a lot. I'm already gathering a lot inwardly and skill-wise, so I'm really excited about that.
As far as interacting with the surrounding community, that is something that I have an issue with out here. I don't think that you're going to have much of an impact if you create some sort of little world to itself where people, live off the grid and grow their own food and try and sure, you can claim that you're an example of something, but maybe you're not an example of something that is attainable for most of the world.
The growth of this place is a very interesting question, and it's one that has to be asked continuously as we go through this. Mm-hmm. Because on the one hand, we want to expose as many students and community as possible to these ideas and these practices. On the other hand, we want to make sure that our impact remains low on this tiny swath of North Carolina, because it needs to be protected and preserved.
I think it's very important that where we're at right now is such a model for the community and for people to come here and experience it, see the oven, see us bake in the oven, live outside, look at our meads and our elixirs and tell them it's all wild things that came from this land and how easy this stuff is to do. The level of awareness that people have about this place is evolving with the place that we're at. Mm-hmm. And the more we develop and the more we're ready for people to come here, then it'll actually be a very positive example. But if we don't have everything in place, organized, it's not even good for people to come because it won't really give a good showing of the land.
Well, we've had some workshops. So in the last 3 years we've had, I don't know how many workshops, but many workshops where people are invited to come in and take part in plant mushroom weekends or elixir making workshops or basket making workshops, and so that's a beginning. But I hear we're going to be on the farm tour, and so there are all kinds of other outlets for people to come in and see what's going on here.
Workshops are awesome, yeah. I think tours is a good place to, just to start to put it out there, to get a small people in here, just to get the word spread about it. And workshops, once we have a better network of people and to get the word of workshops out, it'll be, more people will start coming. And it'll be good once we have more diverse workshops too. Of course, elixir making and basket making was awesome, and it'll be good to incorporate natural building and permaculture design and biodiesel and things like that. And so, and even combine them so people get more of an overall full feeling of what it really means to live out here and what it all incorporates.
Someone once explained to me this sort of role of complexity consciousness, that as things get more complex, they bring more consciousness. So I think that as we get more complex as a community, we'll have greater clarity about what it is that it's our particular job and role to have and perform in this earth world.
Sustainability is an interesting concept. I think people can sustain themselves very, in their minds, call it sustainability just by living in a huge house with 2 garages, and they're sustaining themselves by getting an income and paying for it all. Well, yeah, I'm sustaining myself. But But I think for me, sustainability is twofold. There can be a short-term sustainability where I go out and chop my wood and heat my home with wood and recognize that I have certain resources close by and at hand, and live in a community. I think that's a big part of my definition of sustainability, is to have human relations, specifically in community, working with a common cause, and hopefully moving toward a long-term sustainability where we create something here that brings us what we need in a simple way. I don't think we're looking for anything that's going to necessarily that we need outside. We're going to try and do it here and live on this land, and hopefully all the resources will be here.
I think that it's very possible that we could soon, within the scheme of things, not have oil, not have cheap energy from fossil fuels, and that could change our lives hugely. And I think at that point we might all be forced to live in more sustainable ways. I guess my definition of sustainability would more be of like a working one. I guess to me right now, I've been thinking about what it is that sustains the vision of people. And to me that's like at the center of sustainability, because we have all the capacities as inventive human beings to change our technology. It's pretty easy for us to develop solar and wind and, capacities that are, we're very good at technological capacities, but I'm interested in how sustainability is connected to our minds and the sustainability of the mind, and what will push us will move us inwardly to take big leaps and bounds into how we see our role and our time here. I think the challenge is more of vision than it is of coming up with new ideas about technology. Finding different ways and more sustainable ways to live on this planet is important to me, because the planet is important to me. And I think the Iroquois said it best when they said, in our every deliberation, we must consider the effects of our actions on the next 7 generations. So, and not only the next 7 generations of humans, the next 7 generations or more of all the species.
Has the earth always been important to you that way? Where did you get that influence?
Well, I'm a human, and I have to have oxygen, and I have to have water, and I have to have food, and I like to have places to walk and to be and to breathe and to eat and to stretch my wings and I like to have beauty. And I think the earth is really more important to everyone than we realize.
Like, why do you think there's that discrepancy between like how important it is or it should be to all of us and people's realization of that?
We forgot. We just forgot.